Hello, welcome to Ancient Voice Rising. My name is Hera Diani. I am your host today. I'd like to start off by welcoming you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I want to give an announcement. AncientVoiceRising.com is now back open. I have added two services, Oracle card readings, and something that has been brought to me that is near and dear to my heart, and that is called the Healing Chamber. And if you are interested, it takes about 15 minutes. That is on the website as well. You will also find podcast videos on there, and they will lead you to the YouTube channel where I invite you to subscribe, to like, share, and hit that notification bell. Here is where we make dreams come true. We support each other in our authenticity, in our rawness, in our love, in non judgment. Yeah. Today, my guest is Jessica Penland. I like to think about it before I say the name. Jessica Penland. Jessica is the founder of Soul Soma Healing, where she guides clients through breath work and sound to support emotional regulation, nervous system healing, and personal transformation. With over 2 decades of experience in body work and energy practices, her approach is both intuitive and grounded. Jessica's path began as a survival tool, became a powerful method for healing, clarity, and rebuilding her life. Now, a certified master breathwork and sound facilitator, she supports others in finding stability, clarity, and a deeper connection to themselves, especially those navigating recovery or major life transitions. Her work is compassionate, grounded, and focused on helping people feel safe in their own bodies again. Hi, Jessica. Welcome to Ancient Voice Rising. How are you?
I'm well, thank you, Hera. How are you?
I am doing great. Welcome, welcome. It's been a journey to get you here, and I'm so excited to have you on.
Yeah, thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Wonderful. So, tell the viewers a little about yourself, and let's jump in.
Yeah. So my name's Jessica, and um, I guess, sorry, I'm just feeling out where I want to start. Um, well, I'm here talking with Hera today about Soul Soma Healing, which is a my breath work and um, sound journey business. It's very exciting.
Yeah.
Um,
So
yeah, so
you teach a breathwork class.
correct.
Okay.
So I do one-on-one sessions and I do partner sessions and then group facilitation.
Okay. So how did all of this enter your field of scope?
I
How
feel.
did this happen?
Yeah, so I mean, kind of in a nutshell, I did massage for roughly 22 years.
Okay.
Through that journey, I realized with my regular clients that were coming to me, the tight muscles weren't just from repetitive sitting at a desk or whatever. It was energy. And so I started learning about frequency and how frequency can move things through the body. So that's where the frequency journey started for me. And then about 10 years ago, a decade or so ago, I left a really toxic relationship. There was, a lot of alcohol, a lot of just, nasty, it was unhealthy, toxic
Mhm.
stuff. And when I left that, I was kind of in a place of who am I? What am I? space. And that's when I found breath work to begin with. That was my first introduction to breath work. And it helped me through that stage of life, through
Mhm.
that trauma, um, all the substance abuse. It really helped. And it wasn't until, and I did breath work off and on through, that first 5 years. And then about 5 years ago, I had another, you know, thing in my life where I call it my chrysalis stage. I just, I shut out the world. I didn't talk to a lot of people. I got off social media and I just went inward.
Yeah.
And that's really where the breath work started changing my life.
Mhm.
Um, I started releasing, trauma from childhood, from, teenage years, from 20s, just all this stuff started to come out. Um, and here we are today. So it's been a journey, a beautiful one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, we don't, you know, in my experience, we're born into this world innocent and perfect, and then it moves from there.
yeah,
Um, and so we start taking on stuff that, was taught to us, that, our experiences of that, what's being taught to us, um,
as
becomes,
empaths, you just take
yeah,
on things and you don't
yeah,
even know.
yeah. And to have a way to wake up to what's really going on, carrying, wearing all those coats, those burdens, having the world on your shoulders, basically, of, the wagging finger. Um, breath work, seems for me is really helped me through my transition, out of, this marriage that I just left. So I'm excited to hear about it.
Yeah.
So
Well, and
how?
the beautiful thing about breath too, sorry,
No,
um,
go for it.
the beautiful thing about breath is we do it every day,
Yeah,
right? So it's not like we have to go study things or get tools or, we do it every day. So when we learn how to breathe in rhythm or in different patterns, um, we can do it anywhere in the car, while we're at the store, before, a meeting, just we can do it anywhere.
yeah.
And that's really what I liked about the breath work. It is the simplicity of it.
Is it being like conscious of it? Like you
Right.
become, like, you naturally breathe. Like air is here for us to breathe. Like water is here for us to drink, right?
Right.
Fire is here for, a number of reasons, and so on, right?
Right.
And so to breathe normally, but to become aware of how you're breathing, whether it's restricted or is it flowing, down there is
Yeah.
I have found conscious intention.
Yep. Well, that's where it all starts. That's the
There you go.
beginning. That's the beginning. Something when I'm working, facilitating, the very first thing that we do, and anyone like new to breath work, is just the awareness, but not even the awareness of the breath. It's always going to be the awareness of what they call the felt sense. So, the skin on your clothes, or the clothes on your skin,
Right.
the wind on your face, really being in tune with the body, which then will lead you, excuse me, to, how am I breathing? Am
Yeah.
I mouth breathing? Is it, like you said, restricted? A lot of times when we're stressed, which is pretty much the whole world we live in, it's very shallow. Um,
Hmm.
and shallow breathing pushes the CO2 levels out. So you're not regulating which is keeping you in the stressed state.
Oh, okay.
Just taking 5 minutes to just tune in with yourself
Hmm. I
and
know
how I'm breathing.
when I start breathing in through my nose and out through my mouth and in awareness, like, okay, I'm going to stop
Mhm.
what I'm doing. Let me breathe. I can feel the energy like coming out of my feet. Like I can, it starts like the rhythm in my body
Yeah.
literally changes.
Yeah, it does. It changes. Yeah. And a really big part of why that changes is, the awareness.
Okay.
Um, but when you're breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth, what am I trying to say? You're breathing in the oxygen,
Hmm.
and when you're breathing out the CO2. So you're oxygenating your blood cells, right? Which
Right.
is then taking that CO2 to the blood for
So
healing.
does it does it shift our state in consciousness? Do you teach like that part of it, like what the breath, the and I say practice loosely,
Yeah.
just for the sake of the understanding of the viewers.
Yeah.
Does it shift to different states of consciousness when you do different styles of breathing?
Yes, it does. And so, typically the way we should be breathing is, in through the nose, out through the nose on a daily basis. That's how we should be breathing.
So not
When your mouth
out at all.
go, no mouth breathing.
I'm a mouth breather.
Yeah.
Oh man, I wake up with like I'm like, oh,
Hmm. Yes, exactly. So mouth breathing, um, when your mouth breathe, well, so let me go back a step.
okay.
So yeah, um, when you're breathing in through the nose, you're um activating the nitric oxide. Am I saying that right? Nitric oxide in your body. When you're
It's okay.
breathing through the
People
mouth,
understand
you're
it.
just, yeah, you're skipping the steps. So breathing in through the nose, first of all, there's all these pathogens in the air. So when you're breathing in through your mouth, you're just letting that all straight into your lungs.
Okay.
So our nose has these, they're like conch shells,
Hmm.
are tubes in our nose. And the spins through those tubes, and there's little hairs in there. And so when it spins up there, it's purifying the air that we're breathing, and it's also warming the air. So you're not just taking these giant breaths of cold air into your lungs. So it's like you're warming the air, you're cleaning the air, and then it goes into your lungs. So it's just our purification system. So that's really the big thing. And then, studies show too, when you're mouth breathing, that your sleep is off, you're more stressed, and studies have shown that there's health issues that are also related to mouth breathing. Um, there's probably lots of people who have done studies on this, but Peter Levine wrote a book about it.
Hmm.
Very fascinating book on mouth breathing. Um, and that it actually changes the shape of your jaw and face when you're mouth breathing as well.
Really?
So yeah, and I mean they've done all kinds of crazy studies where, he did a study himself where he plugged his nose and him and his friend did this study for 10 days where they had to mouth breathe. And they were testing their oxygen levels and everything every day, and where they started to where they were was a very steep decline. And even towards the end of that 10 days, sleep apnea started to form. So nose breathing is very important. It's probably the most important thing. So if anybody was to start anywhere with breathing, it would be there, just consciously breathing in through your nose daily. And when you
And
catch yourself,
so breathing in
right,
your nose and out through your nose, not your
right,
mouth.
just rhythmically in and out.
I can't tell you how much this makes sense because me and my daughter last November moved into an apartment on the third floor.
Mm.
And by the time I get to the last set of stairs, I'm like,
Hmm.
and I go and but there's times where when I get to that last set of steps getting to my apartment, I go, wait a minute, shut your mouth and breathe in through your nose. And the difference
Hmm.
is night and day. I don't
It's
walk in
night and
the
day.
door just going like, holy jeez, gosh, that really
Yeah.
that hits a chord with me.
And even, when you're going up and down those flights of stairs, because, when we're exercising, obviously we're gonna, want to mouth breathe. Um, but if you take a pause and you do 4 breaths in and 8 breaths out, and you can even do in through your nose and out through your mouth, it it syncs your heart rate to your breath. So it actually brings your heart rate down, which is, our heart rate being up is what makes us want to breathe heavier.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So your suggestion is to breathe through the nose if you can through that.
Right. So breathe. Yes. I have an example this winter. One of the few snowstorms we got, I was shoveling my deck. And so I was conscious the whole time, like I'm going to breathe through my nose. And we have a pretty large deck. And so normally I get like half the deck and then I take a break and then I go back. Consciously breathing in through the nose and out through the nose, I shoveled that whole deck without breaking, like getting.
Yeah,
And I
happy.
was
Yeah.
like, this is incredible. It's incredible. So just experimenting with it, even, seeing how breath can change your life and different things that you're doing. Um, I don't, it's just fascinating to me.
So if we practice the in and out of the nose, because I'm curious about this now, like during the day,
Mhm.
will that carry over while we're sleeping and we're unconscious? Uh,
Eventually it will. So
Okay.
then the other piece to breathing is, a lot of people breathe just into their chest, right? So we're only breathing in, to half of our body. So, you know, when you're only doing that, typically then that means you're only living from, the chest up. We have a
Mm,
whole other half of our body.
yeah.
So, um, practicing diaphragmatic breathing,
Mm.
um, and I tell people this, when I facilitate, put one hand on your stomach and one hand on your chest. And when you're breathing in, your hand should go out and your ribs should come out. And then that last bit of breath you can, take into your lungs. And then,
You'll see me yawning sometimes, and it's not because of the
yes,
conversation. It's because I breathe from that. I learned to breathe from my diaphragm, to breathe fully
yes,
into my body and to see it
yes.
go like this.
And it's beautiful. And
And
the
it makes
yawns,
me yawn.
all yawns are welcome. That's what I say in
Sorry,
facilitation.
you
Yawns are
caught me
welcome.
there, and I was like, I'm diaphragm breathing though.
Yawns are welcome. It's a good sign. Yeah. Yeah. Breathwork's beautiful. I mean, I've seen people just, I've seen how it not only has changed my life, right? But um, clients I work with, their health improves, their sleep improves, their frequency improves, they're
Okay.
calmer through their day. Well, and the other thing too is when you're regulating your CO2 and your oxygen levels, we can handle stress better, which really is kind of what has prompted me to come out with this.
Hmm.
Soul Soma was never meant for anybody. This was just something I was doing for myself. I started taking a course in breath work just for myself.
Yeah,
Um, and the more I've learned, the more I'm like, how can I not share this with people? But even with that, I really wasn't intending on going public with it or, as friends, family, kind of thing.
right.
Um, but the more people I work with and the more I see it changing and the more stressed out I see our world becoming, um, I, how could you not? How
Yeah.
could you not?
Yeah.
especially with the way that breath work, um, with practicing it allows your stress receptors to, you know, what is the word I'm looking for? Be stronger.
Okay.
You can handle stress a little better now.
Yeah. I mean, during 2020, during COVID is when I came out of the closet and started doing work for people because the absolute fear behind everything was
Yeah.
astonishing to me, and how they
Hmm.
were fear mongering the collective and the world.
Yeah.
And I was like, no,
Yep.
I
Well,
can't
and I
just
see it
sit
happening
here.
now too. It's just you see it everywhere you go, just the
Yeah.
fear and the uncertainty with everything going on in the world. And um, if we can just bring a little bit of, you know, calm to people,
Mhm.
what a difference it would make.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I completely agree to that. I that's that has been who I am since I woke up to my awareness.
Yeah.
It's like stop the fear mongering
Yeah.
and let's empower each other and
Empower each
support each
other.
other to get through this and get through it together. And it doesn't matter what you believe, what you do. If it helps and assists anyone, then do it.
Then
Be
do
it.
it. Yes. Absolutely. And I encourage anyone out there thinking that they have a gift that the world doesn't need. It does.
Oh yeah, everybody has a gift. They just got to learn to accept it or be
Hmm.
willing to accept it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
all have something to give.
Yeah. And don't keep it to yourself. That was my learning lesson, like I can keep this to myself. That's fine. I am totally fine with just me
Mm,
and my little bubble,
yeah,
you know. I will say in my chrysalis stage, there was a lot of healing, a lot of, peeling back the layers of the onion and just, all this stuff. And yeah, there was a lot of dark moments, dark nights of the souls, or
mm,
whatever in that time, in that
no,
5 years. But coming out of it, I'm okay just keeping it to myself.
yeah.
Um, so I encourage anybody listening to this, if you have a gift that you think that is just yours and you want to hold on to it, ask yourself, could it help others? Because I
Yeah.
really believe that, we need more.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And we need more heart-centered generosity
Yeah.
of, you know, it's like whenever my guides bring something to me, and my inside starts to react, I pay attention.
Hmm.
And the more I hold on to it, it seems the worse things get,
And the
right?
thing
So
too, yeah, absolutely.
when I let it out and I go,
Yeah, let
okay.
it out.
So I'm learning now, I've been learning that when they bring when that energy comes in and it shows me something and I can physically feel it, you know, um, there is a point where enough is enough. You gotta like let it out. You gotta
Let,
let that voice speak.
yes, absolutely.
In however whatever capacity it's speaking from, breath work, Reiki, whatever it is.
All the
Um,
yes, yeah.
yeah, any I mean, anything, you know, inventions, whatever.
Yeah.
It needs to be it it's you're guided, you experience it, and you teach it.
And then you teach it. Yeah. I heard something really beautiful the other day, um, that I'm sure, you can probably resonate with is, your pain becomes your medicine,
Mm,
and then your medicine becomes what you teach.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So when we were talking earlier, you mentioned that you also do bookkeeping,
Oh, yes, the bookkeeping. Yeah.
and that kind of helped you bring in Soma, right?
Right.
So the what is your website, first of all, for the breathing, the breath
The
work
website
part?
for Soul Soma is soulsomahealing.com.
Okay.
Hmm.
So let's go into how these kind of intertwined. And then maybe at the end, if you'd like to show a couple different breath techniques for the
Yeah.
viewers.
Yeah, that'd be great.
All right. So how did bookkeeping get you into
Yeah.
the business of breath work?
Yeah. Right, because they're polar opposites. So, well,
I
the name
love
of my, yeah. Um, so the name of my bookkeeping business is Lotus Bookkeeping.
okay.
And so the name kind of attracted this certain group of people, right? Because people are just attracted to that name Lotus. Um,
Yeah.
and I started doing, alignable connects and just different types of networking events, and, meeting different people and, doing all of that. And this lady, she was like, well, how did you go from massage to bookkeeping? And, we were talking about that. And she goes, well, it seems like you have more gifts. Like it doesn't just end at massage, like there's more gifts there. And that got the wheels turning for me. And I was like, well, maybe I do have more gifts.
Oh,
Um, in the meantime, I'm still doing breath work and playing my singing bowls and, just living life. Like, what is my gift?
yeah.
And it just kind of came to me one day. I was getting these messages to, breath work, like that's the next thing. And I was like, oh, whatever. Um, and so but it got stronger and stronger. The more I ignored it, the
Mhm.
louder it got.
Mhm.
And I remember very specifically one day standing in my kitchen and it was just like, that was it. Like I got the message that it was Soul Soma. I needed to create a YouTube channel. And anybody that knows anything about me, I was like, YouTube channel, you are off your rocker. I am not doing that.
First two. I was like, way, this is not
Yeah,
going on camera.
yeah,
Talk about
yeah,
this stuff.
yep, yeah. And I was like, definitely not like doing a YouTube channel. I was like, I don't know, maybe I could like, you know, talk about it like on my Facebook page or something. But no, it was just very clear that it was like that. So I started the YouTube channel. Like I created it, but I didn't do anything with it for like another, I don't know, a few weeks, probably a month. And then, it was like, so I wasn't ready to be on camera.
Mhm.
I tried to be, but you know how it is, like the editing and all that just is a mess. So, anyways, long story short, that's how bookkeeping led to Soul Soma. It was just this divine meeting of this woman who said, you have more to give.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
here we are.
That's beautiful. That's
Yeah.
beautiful. What a what a journey. Um,
Yeah.
so would you like to give some breathing, like maybe two
So
breathing
I want
tech?
to give like a few tips first before
Yeah,
breathing. Yeah.
yeah,
So, and we already talked about some of them, nasal breathing, the diaphragmatic breathing. Those are really the key points to any kind of breath work that you do. The other thing to keep in mind for anybody breathing is there's a lot of ways to breathe, and there's no one size fits all breathing. So try a few. Whether there's something that I share or somebody else shares, try a few, see what works for you. Um, and really try to do it every day. Even if it's just starting out with you're driving in the car and all your calls and all the things are coming in and you're stressed, like, pause. Every time you go to a stoplight, every time the light is red, take that moment to pause and check in with your breath. How am I breathing? Take a few deep breaths. Um, just start making those little things a habit.
Yeah.
When I pull into my driveway before I go into my house, take a moment to sit in your car and connect with yourself before you
Mm,
go in, because oftentimes it's, you've got family waiting for you. Before you pick your kids up from the pickup line, check in with yourself. So the more you do that, the more consistent you'll be. The other thing, when you start, if you're used to chest breathing and you start diaphragmatic breathing, um, it might feel awkward and tight. So, at first it's only going to go a little bit. But they say that, your diaphragm can stretch 10 inches, which
well,
is kind of crazy.
that is.
It is. So just practicing that breathing and, like I said, belly first, ribs out, that last bit of breath into your lungs. And I personally like to, when I'm consciously breathing like that, I like to breathe out through my mouth. It just feels better for me,
Yeah.
but do it however. The other thing too I wanted to touch on real quick is humming. So when you're releasing the breath,
Mhm.
um, you know, doing the humming. So humming um, stimulates the vagal nerve, which
Mhm.
is the largest nerve in our body, right? So it connects our
Mhm.
brain stem down into our organs.
Mhm.
It's the one thing that kind of connects us inside to everything. So when you're humming, you're vibrating that vagal nerve,
Mhm.
which is vibrating the water inside of us. And I think
Yep.
that's just really beautiful.
Yeah.
Um, I'm still working on the humming in public, or just like when other people are around me humming.
I do it in the
Um,
bathtub.
yeah, in the bathtub or in the car. I hum in the car a
Mm,
lot. I do find myself at the grocery store sometimes like just, taking
mm,
that big sigh.
yeah.
Um, anyway, so yeah, oh, and then also it stimulates the nitric oxide when you're humming in your body. So the nitric oxide is what gives you that sense of euphoria, if you will. I feel like that word is so big, but
Yeah.
um, it's what calms you is releasing that nitric oxide. Okay, so those are my little tips.
So breathing, so you release it when you nose breathe as well?
No, so nose breathing, like the nose breathing, the in and out is kind of just how you want to train yourself to breathe daily.
Because
Just,
I'm yawning
working.
more. Because I've been
Yeah,
doing it while you've been talking, and I'm
yeah.
finding myself yawning a lot more
Hmm.
than I
And you
normally.
will. Hmm.
So why is that?
I knew you were going to ask me that.
Well,
So when you're putting more oxygen into your body, you're sending oxygen into your cells, which is sending CO2 out of your cells. So what happens is when we're mouth breathing or breathing irregularly, that CO2 sits in our cells and kind of becomes stale, if you
mm,
will. So when you're breathing in that fresh oxygen, when you're yawning, it's your body's way of like getting rid of that like excess CO2, that stale CO2, so that when you're taking in that next breath, that
mm.
oxygen, it can pull the CO2 out of there.
Okay.
Um, yeah, so and I wanted to clarify this too, because I get a lot of these questions in when I'm doing sessions. Um, so people think that CO2 is a waste product, that we shouldn't be having that in our body. Um, but it's actually the key that unlocks the oxygen. I wrote this down because I want to say it correctly. It unlocks the oxygen from your blood so your cells can use it.
Hmm,
Mhm. It's called
interesting.
I'm going to say this probably wrong. Bohr effect,
Okay.
Bohr effect. So if anyone wants to go look that up and do a little more research on why CO2 is important for us. Um, so there we have it. There's my little tidbits on,
Thank
just some
you.
daily things that you can do.
Yeah.
Um, and so there's different types of breathing, right? There's rhythmic breathing where we're just in through the nose, out through the nose. And you can do these, in four, out four, in four, out, and you want to make sure this, I've learned this trick. So you can take your
Okay.
hand and you can count, one, two, three, four, pause. One, two, three, four, pause. One, two, three, four,
Oh,
pause.
wow.
And you go all the way around your hand until you get down here. That would be the exhale. So
Okay.
if you just do, it's called hand breathing.
Hmm.
So if you just do that wave of breathing, I learned this from a fellow, I'm going to call her out, just she taught it to me. Her name is Anne. So thank
Okay.
you, Anne, if you watch this. So hand breathing, and if you just do that for, 3 or 4 rounds, you will noticeably feel yourself calming. So that's the first one is rhythmic breathing. Another really popular one is box breathing, which is I envision it
Mm,
in my head is the four, hold for four,
yeah.
exhale for four, inhale for four. So that's a really popular one.
Hmm.
I do that breathing when I know I'm going to go out into public where there's maybe a lot of people. It's kind of my way of like putting that shield around myself. So that's when I do it, but you can do it anytime.
It's also really good to discharge energy as well when you've got an
Yes.
excess of, like if you've been out in public, it's a good way to, that's one of the ones that I do. When you press your feet into the floor and you do the box breathing, it's a good way to disperse, um, energy that,
Yeah, that's good to know.
that's not, that you walked through, like the grocery store, right? You've got consumerism, you've got all of that coming at you. So when you come home, it's a good way to
Release
kind of
that
clean,
energy.
yeah,
Interesting. Okay.
yeah. Hmm.
It's beautiful. And then another way to breathing is, in through the nose and out through the mouth.
Okay.
And you can do this to any sort of rhythm that you want. Rhythmic breathing, I like to do in through the nose, out through, in nose, out nose, and that's the same for whatever.
Okay.
When you are doing, like, say, maybe when we're exercising, like we talked about, you'll go in through the nose and out through the mouth. So whatever your count is up, so you go up four and then out eight.
Okay.
So if you want to do two, you go into out four. If you really want to get crazy and really ramp up your energy, you can go in one, out two, in one, out two. That really, breathing fast like that really, pumps up your energy.
Oh, okay.
I'll do that in the afternoon. When I've been sitting at my computer bookkeeping all day and I'm just
Yeah.
sort of like, oh gosh, that laggy, that 3 o'clock slump.
So it kind of gives you
Um,
that caffeine hit without the caffeine.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing. So, I do that. The other thing too is shaking, like getting up and shaking. Um, stimulate, get that, I do it before a lot of times before breathing, to activate the body.
hmm.
But I like to do it sometimes after breathing to shake it out,
Okay.
yeah. So again, there's lots of ways to breathe.
Okay.
There's breath holds, um, the it's called intermittent hypoxic training.
Okay.
So you let everything out of your lungs and then you hold your breath. And you'll hold your breath till, your body, the first signal that says, I need to breathe.
Hmm.
That's when then you take a big breath in through the nose. And when you do that, if you squeeze your pelvic floor, like if you have to go to the bathroom, those
Hmm.
muscles, it sends the energy up your spine into your midbrain. And so you
Uh,
can do those breath works a little bit, and
that
it,
makes
it
so much.
activates your pineal gland. So with all the,
That's where the
man-made,
throbbing came from because the pineal gland is back here at the base of the where the skull and the spine starts, like straight back there. And I was wondering, like it's sore back there because it's been
Mhm.
activating and going and decrystallizing a lot more recently.
Right.
And I was wondering why, like in the bathtub, all of a sudden, just the this part of my head started throbbing, like it was trying to open.
To
And
open.
yeah, so and I was going, and then when you hold it, um, like I've done it when I'm not in the bathtub,
Yeah, don't
and
hold your breath in the bathtub.
right, I like went forward, came back up, and like it almost made you pass out.
Yeah.
But the effect afterwards
Hmm.
was for a couple days.
Yeah. Days.
Intuition was just,
Yeah.
body was in rhythm and balance and just, I mean, just
Firing on all cylinders.
firing on, looking for the right words there, firing on all cylinders. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
there's the one where you breathe in and you hold it, and where you were talking about where you feel like you can't hold it anymore, and then you come down forward and then you come back up, and that's when you let the breath out. Do you know that what I'm talking about? That's the one that can make you feel like you're gonna, like you need to be sitting on the floor and have
Yes.
pillows around you because it could actually make you pass out.
And I'm glad that you brought that up because it really is important if you're going to do the breath holding, not necessarily the box breathing, but if you're going to really do the intermittent hypoxic training, you 100% should be laying down. Do not do it in the bathtub. So
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, yeah, and so laying down or sitting down so that yes, if you do pass out, you're not flopping off a chair, drowning yourself in the tub. So,
Right.
um, yeah, and so that Wim Hof is the one that kind of brought that to the world,
Okay.
that type of breathing. Um, and anybody who does Wim Hof, more power to you.
Mm,
I would scale it back a little bit.
hmm.
Um, there's definitely some people I've trained with that have had experiences in that breathing and not in a great way, but do what it resonates with you.
Yeah,
So
I
thank
stopped
you.
doing that one.
Yeah.
I
So,
did.
and that's why I'm saying like the intermittent hypoxic training, we don't need to go holding our breath until we're turning blue to have results, right?
Right.
You can do just, rhythmic breathing, you can do, what I like to do is, 2 in, 4 out. So I'll breathe that way for roughly, 3 minutes.
And this
Then
is
you
in
take
through
it.
the nose
Yeah.
and out
So,
through the
well,
nose.
I breathe out through the mouth. So
Okay.
in through the nose for 2, out through the mouth for 4. And I'll do that for about 3 minutes. Then
Is it
you take a,
rapid?
it's just rhythmic. You're not
Okay.
holding, you're just breathing.
Okay.
So like, so
Okay.
real just, and then I do that for, roughly personally me 3 minutes, do it for, a minute. Then you take one giant breath in all the way. You hold it for just a couple seconds and real fast exhale everything out of your lungs, everything. That's when you do your breath hold. And if you're sitting, you would drop your chin to your chest to lock in that throat chakra, and you just hold it
Yeah, I saw
for,
your body just completely drop.
yeah. So, and then you just hold it for as long as until you get that first sensation to breathe.
Okay.
Um, the more you practice it, you can go a little longer or just go just beyond that threshold. Um, and then you take in a nice deep breath in again, and that's when you hold and you squeeze that pelvic floor, and that's when the energy goes up into your
Yes.
your mid. And so,
Some throbbing in the
mhm,
head. So just viewers be aware that that
beware.
is
Yeah.
a sensation that does happen when you're doing this particular breathing
Right.
exercise because
Yeah,
you're
and this is more of an
moving
advanced
well.
type of breath work. This isn't something that I would probably teach somebody right out the gate.
Right.
Um, this is,
Well, you're also moving that fluid up and down the
you're
spine when
moving
you're
the fluid.
breathing and you're clamping in the pelvic area. You're sending the fluid up and then releasing brings it back down. That can
Yes,
bring that kind of
that's when you get
that
dizzy.
yeah.
And so some of the other things that somebody might feel in any of the breath work is tingling. That's normal. You're activating your, like I said, you're reoxygenating your cells. You're getting the carbon, the CO2 going, so the tingling, in hands, feet, all over, that's
Mhm.
normal. Yawning is normal. The only thing to be cautious of, um, and definitely don't do breath holding if you're pregnant, um, if you've had heart surgery, like, your typical contraindications, like,
Yeah,
if
you
you
should
suffer
not.
from seizures, don't do breath holding.
Yeah.
But breath work is safe for everybody to do. Just the rhythmic breathing, just conscious rhythmic breathing is safe for everybody. um, do it laying down. You can do it sitting up in your car. I wouldn't necessarily be like driving and like doing this crazy breath work, but
Yeah.
just breath awareness at that point. Um, yeah. So yeah, those are, I was saying tingling, sensations in the body. The other thing I want people to be aware of is that through breath work,
Mhm.
you can feel emotional. Um,
Mhm.
I encourage everybody to go try a breathwork session with somebody and experience it for themselves. It doesn't have to be with me. It could be within, there's lots of breathwork practitioners out here. So, give it a try, but know that, you know, emotions can come up and you might not have a breakthrough in your session. Not everybody does, but the next day, a couple days later, you might just wake up and you're, crying your eyes and you don't know why.
Yeah.
Um, so just know that that happens, and it's good. You're peeling back the layers and you're cleaning out the closet and, dusting the cobwebs, all that stuff. So
Yeah.
all those experiences are very normal. I don't want anyone to like, have an experience like that and be like, oh, I don't want breath work. Um, because
That's
it
a good
really
a
can be
release for
transformational.
the body and the
Yeah,
energy field.
yeah. Because we're holding on to things, and so, um, there's this beautiful quote. Um, Most of us try to think our way out of stress. Like how well does that work for you to think yourself out of stress?
Yeah.
Um, um, the body doesn't speak English, it speaks sensation.
Mm,
So,
yeah.
really,
Yeah. When people say that we're not emotional beings, we are emotional beings at our very core.
yeah. Frequency. Everything is frequency, I mean, everything. This glass, this water,
Yeah.
everything is frequency, including ourselves.
Yeah. I learned, I've got a thing where it's like, I will say now, it's like, I feed this, not this.
Yeah, I
I
like that,
never
Hannah.
factor in this. I feed this. This is where I feed.
I
And
love that.
um and being that just the fact of you know, breathing comes natural. It is a natural gift. It is just something where that, you got to breathe, right? But when you start becoming aware of it and then how it actually affects the cells in your body, your innate system is just another level of health care that you can provide yourself. And
Yeah.
that's it's one of the reasons why I really wanted to have you on today was because, I can be out driving too and I'll notice like my for me, I get hot in the feet. I can start feeling a pull and a hot and a little bit of heat in my feet. And all of a sudden I go right into, oh, how am I breathing? How am I sitting in my car seat, right? And it's back to the awareness of it. And
Mhm.
then, I move on. And then so paying attention to your body and being aware of it and just adding in something very simple,
Yeah,
like the
something we're
note.
already doing. I'm already
Yeah.
breathing.
Yeah. But being conscious of it
Yeah.
makes such a be or aware of it. I'll use that word, being aware of how
Mhm.
your breathing is coinciding with your body and the
Mhm.
bodily sensations when you shift different breaths. I love that. I think that is important
Yeah.
these.
Well, it regulates our nervous system,
Mhm.
and our nervous system is most people's nervous systems are shot. It calms your mind, it grounds your soul, it brings you back to
Mhm.
and I'm sorry, at the end of the day, the only person that you have is you. It's here, it's in here. So why not have the best relationship with this right here that you can?
Absolutely. I
So
agree. I agree. I agree. Is
yeah.
there anything else you would like to touch on today?
There is one, so breath work is my primary business, or
Okay.
not my primary business, bookkeeping is my primary business. Uh, breath work is the primary offering that I do in Soul Soma.
Okay.
Um, but I have the singing bowls too, well, and other just musical, you know, that I like to bring into a session.
Okay.
And,
For
so
toning.
the toning, right? So we go
Okay.
through these breath journeys,
Mhm.
there's like, it's like reading a storybook. You're here and then you peak, you have your peak and then you come down. And so when you come out of a breath session and you're just like in this kind of like, whoa, like what just happened? Doing the music and the sound really kind of harmonizes the water within us and brings that story to a full settlement within the body.
Oh, wow.
Um, so just for the viewers out there, that's a service, that I like to do as well. Is it's not just the breath journey. It's, at the end while you're still laying there, just kind of processing, the journey you just went on,
Yeah.
um, playing the singing bowls and letting, you know, people come back naturally.
Yeah.
Um, it's been a really beautiful integration.
Oh, so beautiful. I love that you would end with that because that grounds it in. It
Yeah.
like solidifies it into the cells of the body and the energy field,
Yeah.
what you just let go of
Yes.
and integrate it.
Exactly. And integrate it and just come back and two, the thing, if you do go on a breath, you know, um journey, um, you know, with a facilitator of any kind, just make sure you're doing it and then you're going to come out of that and not have a big to-do list.
Yeah.
Go home and journal and, just be with yourself because it really is a special moment that we don't get to be in our vessel very often
Mhm.
because we've got all these things pulling us. So
Mhm.
being in here is a special moment. So I encourage anyone doing any kind of breath work to really
To
just,
take your class.
yeah, just be in your vessel.
Class. Because this,
Yeah.
yeah, this is something that I've been wanting to learn more about. And I absolutely love that you bring in the toning with it because
Mhm.
I believe in my experience that that is actually a very vital part after going through this breath journey. Linking those two together is genius. It's great.
Yeah.
I think
Well,
it's
thank you.
very
Thank
important.
you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you. Yeah.
Welcome.
So, I wanted to say something and now it's escaped my mind. I'm sorry.
Oh no.
Maybe it'll come back.
Let's
Oh, I was
see.
gonna say, I do virtual breathwork
Okay.
sessions and I do in person. So in person is just locally to me. Um, yeah. So
Okay.
virtually is where, and my website, I gave that earlier, which was, soulsomahealing.com.
Okay.
Um,
And anyone in Colorado
Colorado.
um
Yeah.
will you I mean you can
I
give them
mean, if
that
you're in the
information.
state, like reach out,
Yeah.
I don't want to put a parameter on how far I'm willing to travel, um, because I like to travel.
Yeah. I'm hoping to be
Um,
coming through there soon. So
yes, exactly. If you come through, it would be
oh yeah.
beautiful.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit
So,
Miss Christine up and see you guys and
yeah.
yeah, hopefully that won't be too long, too far away.
Yes. Well, you let us know when you're coming through. That would be
Absolutely.
wonderful.
Absolutely. Then I can experience in person, but I'm going to do the virtual one as well. I've got
Yeah.
some other people I'm going to call in too and see if they want to do it. Do you do
Perfect.
multiples um, at one
Mhm.
time?
Yeah, so yeah, exactly. We just do it over Zoom. Typically, a breathwork session is I kind of feel into the group because
Okay.
everybody's different. Every individual is different. It's a lot easier when you're working just one-on-one with somebody. They come to you and they say, I have the specific thing I want to work with. That's easy.
Mm-hmm.
When it's a group of people, you kind of have to feel into the group. And so, we start out with some, music. So there's always music too, because music is part of the journey.
Mm,
Music,
yes.
when you're just doing your own self practice,
Mm-hmm.
you can have music, you cannot have music, just
Yeah.
really just, it's about the awareness for yourself. On the breathwork journey, there's music. And so we start out slow, we go through these different stages and then grounding. So I just kind of feel into the group. What is
Okay.
the group vibe? What is the group feeling? Sometimes I have like, um, sisters or a husband and wife, and they have the same thing. Like we want to work through this thing.
Yeah.
So if it's a group of women, and you all have the same thing, we can work with that too. So
Okay.
there's no one size fits all. It's really just, what does the individual need or what does the group need? And so we do it via Zoom. Everybody finds a nice comfy place.
Okay.
Um, you've I always recommend laying down. You don't want to have like a pillow under maybe just a little pillow if you need that support, but nothing that's going to crick your neck. You want to have that
That
nice
open
open.
flow.
And a bolster under your legs, a blanket, because your body temperature will change. So you want to have, just some nice comfy things,
Okay.
water. Um, yeah.
Okay.
And then we just do the Zoom for, the sessions range really from, 45 to 60 minutes.
Okay.
Um, on the longer ones, when I do, like, my goal is to do some retreats this
Yeah.
summer. That's really where it's at. So on those retreats, I'm looking into that future. Those will be longer
Yeah.
sessions.
Hmm.
So um
That'll be exciting.
yeah, I'm excited.
Oh my gosh.
I have all these
Excited for you.
places in my mind. I want to go here, I want to go here, I want to go here.
Yeah, and I want to go there and go there and go there and experience
Yeah,
it too.
yeah, yeah. It's gonna be magical.
All right. Well, so did you give so it's Lotus Bookkeeping?
Right. So the that is lotusbookkeeping.com.
Okay.
Lotus Bookkeeping's on Facebook only. Oh, well, I mean like LinkedIn and I'm on Alignable, but Facebook. And then Soul Soma Healing and Soul Soma, we're on Instagram
Okay.
and YouTube and then the website.
We'll put that in the comments of this video so that everybody has access to the Instagram, to all the different
All the things.
all
Yeah.
the things, all the different things. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll make sure to put that in the comments when this airs.
Perfect. Hera, it's been such a pleasure.
Thank you
Thank
for coming
you.
on. I really
Yeah.
appreciate it. It is an honor and humbling to be able to support everyone that comes on this show. And viewers, if you have any comments, any questions, please post them in the comment section.
Yeah. And I'm
Um,
happy to answer them all.
absolutely, absolutely. Jessica, thank you for being on Ancient Voice Rising.
Thank you.
All
It's been
right,
a thank you, Hera.
you're welcome.